What's up, guys? Spider here for Destiny. We got the weekly Nightfall strike, bringing it to you today on the Tuesday, the weekly wipe, and it is the Devil's Lair. Yes, we must defeat Sepix Prime once again. So we're going to take a look at the buffs that we got. We got the Epic, we got the Light Switch, the Juggler, that's important. Remember, you're not going to get ammo drops for the weapon you're using, and you have the Void damage, all right? Void damage. So I'm using Atheon's Epilogue. Fortunately, I have like all Void weapons here. But remember, there are going to be Fallen with shields, with Arc shields, and you're going to have Hive Wizards with Solar shields, okay? So keep in mind that you might want to have those weapons handy. So we're going to get into this. Now, when this came, this strike was the first weekly Nightfall strike, and we did get through it. I think, if I remember correctly, but we had a difficult time. So I'm going to tell you, we're basically going to look at cheese spots, etc. Okay, the spots that you want to fall back to, where you're going to be able to survive and pick each other up and get through and defeat the strike and finish the strike and get your weekly buff. All right, so we're going to skip ahead to the first section. It's basically 3 sections, and we'll walk you through it. Okay, so this first area, we've got the Fallen fighting the Hive. We got a few lower level, obviously Fallen and Hive. Got to watch out for those Vandal snipers up at the very top. And we've got one wizard to deal with, and we have a captain to deal with on the Fallen side, all right? But you can see how easily Atheon's Epilogue takes out the wizard, all right? Now, again, if you don't have a primary with Void damage or whatever, then you're going to be stuck with whatever you have. Ideally, again, a lot of these weapons are from the Vault of Glass, so you might have one of the other ones. There are a couple other ones, like the Scout Rifle does have the solar damage, and the Pulse Rifle has arc damage. So if you have one of those, make sure you have it available, again, for the wizards and for these captains. But if you do have Atheon's Epilogue, then it will help you immensely. Otherwise, you're stuck with your specials and your heavies. Again, just swapping through them. Make sure you do have ammo synth as well. I always keep ammo synth for everything, for primary, for special, and for heavy. I've got 20 each on this character at least. All right, so we've got this this knight we got to take care of, and basically the spot that we're gonna go to. I'm running solo right now. Hyper Mole is going to join me here shortly, and actually, I think I end up dying just as he's coming in. So I'm just gonna switch now because I want to have another weapon with a different type of damage. So I've got fire and I've got arc. But what's going to happen first, the first few waves, you're going to need the arc. But then you do have shanks that come in that do have solar shields. And you're going to see some wizards near the end come in that also have solar shields. So the guys come in here first. This is the captain. I was going to try and snipe him here. But yeah, not a good decision. We got to fall back. I do end up taking him out with Atheon's Epilogue. But you want to fall back to this spot way back here, and you're going to see that I jump into this back area right here. Right in here is going to be your spot, okay, guys? This is how we got through the Nightfall the first time we got through, and we were way under-leveled. So there were basically 2 of us down here. We had a fire team of 3. There were 2 of us down here, and then one of us was up on this. It's like a rail car to my left. So if you go in, you can go in behind and jump up on top of it, and that's where our 3rd player was. And we were also utilizing, there's a room, if you just go forward from my position and left, and it's where the shanks come out of. There's a room right there that we were also utilizing. One of us would utilize it. This air conditioner, it looks like an air conditioning unit we could sit behind, and that would give us cover for taking out these guys. The captains were obviously the toughest ones that we had to deal with, at least initially, because you get a few waves of captains, and then you do get some yellow health. I think 1 or 2 yellow health captains that come in later on. All right, so that's basically the strategy that we employed, all 3 of us hanging back, and I'm going to skip ahead to when Hyper comes in and we get the majority of the enemies coming in. Okay, so we're at the point where we've got 2 of 3 mesh layers deactivated, and I'm in a bad spot because all these Hive Yeah, these guys all spawn in right out of those rooms, one to the left, one to the right. And now we have the wizards coming in. But again, with the void weapons, and I think Hyper does have a solar weapon on, we've got the yellow health snipers up in the top left, so you got to keep an eye out for those guys. So if you guys are, you know, level 28 or even level 27, you do not want to be sticking your head out as much as we are. You want to make sure you take out the snipers first. Those snipers will one-shot you or two-shot you, and you're done, okay? And if all three of your fire team members die, you're back to orbit. And you don't want that to happen. So make sure you take out the snipers first. Always, always, always take them out first if you're lower level. Us, well, we don't have to worry about it as much since we're level 30. But that's, yeah, take those guys out, all right? Supercharge, if you guys have whatever your subclasses are, again, going to be beneficial if you have the an arc-based subclass on. I mean, I have the solar-based subclass, which helps with the hive and the wizards. Doesn't necessarily help so much with the fallen and the captains. Okay, so that's basically it. We do end up clearing this area out, but that's the strategy that we employ. Make sure you're back in that area, and you know, ideally, again, if you are under-leveled, have one person just sit back entirely, not even stick their head out, and go back down, you know, that little hill. Go back down and just stay hidden down there. And he's the revive person. So if anybody gets taken out, he revives them. And that way you never get... Because, I mean, it's happened where you have 2 or even 3 of your fire team members go down simultaneously. And that would suck. Okay? So we're going to go ahead to the next area with the Fallen Walker. And we'll see what we do there. Okay? All right, here we are in the Fallen Walker area. I'm going to take the left side. Hyper's going to stay back on the right side. Now, his job, he's got a Void Sniper. And the first thing that I'm going to do is take out this sniper up here, okay? You always got to take him out, and you have to be over on this left side. All right, if you're over on the right side, you can't take him out. And watch out for the, the dropship, the skiff, because it hurt me right there. Yeah, there's an invisible barrier on that sniper, but make sure you get that sniper because he will mess you up if you don't take him out right away. All right, so my job on the left-hand side, I don't have a Void Sniper with me. Hyper is going to focus on the Walker, so you're not going to see me really shoot the Walker at all. I'm just going to try and take out all these guys on the left side, and there's some guys in the middle, and I don't even think that any of them fired at Hyper at all in his position. You can see he's relatively... in a line horizontal from where I was, so he's pretty far back there, basically taking out the Walker. All right, so I'm gonna take out the Shanks. The Shanks again have the extra solar shields, and yeah, some of the captains that come in also have the arc shields, so it's not too bad. Hey, Shank. The void damage, you know, again, if you look at the damage and the elemental effects, right? So the Nightfall strike has the void buff, but you're always going to be better off using the elemental effect for the shield that your enemy has, right? So for the Shank, yeah, I'm gonna go through it with the void, but if I had, you know, the raid scout rifle, which has solar damage, I'm gonna be better off with that. It's gonna be slightly better, but if you don't, and you just have the Void weapon, you're still going to do quite a bit of damage. You're going to take down their shields, at least way faster than if you were using any other type of weapon, or a weapon that didn't have any elemental effects. All right? Now, if you guys are doing a comparison between this and the Weekly Heroic, the Weekly Heroic is actually more difficult. Because you don't have the extra ability, you don't have the Void buff, you don't have the Elemental buff that's going to help you take these guys out a lot more quickly, right? So that Walker, Hyper took out that Walker very, very quickly, but when we ran through it on the Weekly Heroic, no, it wasn't nearly that quick. Both of us were actually attacking the Walker and shooting at the Walker and bringing it down, but it took us a lot longer to do the Weekly Heroic than it did to do the Weekly Nightfall. So let's skip ahead to Sepix Prime. Okay, so we're entering Sepix Prime Lair. We're going to take out all these guys, and note when they do deliver some additional reinforcements, the Shanks don't have the solar shields. The solar shield shanks were in just the last 2 sections. The shanks that come in here on this stage of it do not have solar shields. But you will get yellow health drags and vandals that come in towards the second half of this area, okay? So Sepix Prime, I've got my heavy with void damage, and where we located last time, so we had this little hallway right here. We did have, at one point in time when we were running this mission, we had 2 guys in that hallway and 1 guy back in this room that I was just in, okay? So Hyper was actually back in this room, and me and Hydra, we were both hunters, and we were in that little hallway right there. We also ran it, so you can run it that way, and you gotta beware of the shanks, because the shanks will come in. I think, actually, okay, these shanks have fire shields. Some of them didn't. I thought some of them didn't. Or maybe, no, I'm sorry, that was the weekly heroic. My apologies. The weekly heroic, the shanks didn't have solar shields. Okay, all the shanks have solar shields in the Nightfall. So the other strategy we utilized, as opposed to having 2 people in the hall, 1 person back in this room back here, we actually ran with 3 players back in the room. 2 were at the top, and there's actually a stairway, like right in here, so 1 would be towards the right. There's a stairway in there that goes down to the bottom level. So when we were running it the one time, the first time through, I can't remember if it was the Nightfall or the weekly heroic, I was down at the bottom of the stairs just ensuring that any fallen that came in wouldn't come up in behind us. So I'd take out the ones at the bottom of the stairs, and if I needed help, then I'd just ask for it. And then we had Hyper and Hydra were located at the top of the stairs, taking pot shots at Sepix Prime, and also, you know, obviously taking down any shanks and other fallen that would come in off the skiffs. All right, so you can use that, and that worked out quite well. I don't know if it's been patched since then, since that first week, but that worked out well for us, and we were able to get through it. So 2 different strategies that you can utilize. Obviously, we have a much easier time now that we're level 30, and we do have the elemental primary weapons from the Vault of Glass raid, but wanted to provide you guys with some strategies who, you know, when you may not have those weapons or you may not be leveled enough. So you should be able to run this level 27. Level 26 is probably pushing it, but definitely level 27, and get through it utilizing those locations that we took you through in those 3 areas of the Devil's Lair. Hope you guys enjoyed, and good luck on the weekly this week. We will see you next time. Spider out.